This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm George Gordon. Today, we're talking about the dramatic impact of hearing loss and solutions you will find with the team at NexGen Hearing. We're joined in studio again by audiologist Dr. Ted Venema. Ted, there's way more to the story about the programming of hearing aids. We touched on that in our first segment, but it's not it's like picking a it's in this tiny little device.
Yeah, it's talking,
amazing.
Yep. Hearing aids basically have a microphone that picks up sounds, and microphones change sound into electricity. And speakers, they're backward mics. They change electricity back into sound. But in between those two, you've got an amplifier and you've got a digital signal processor. So what happens is you've got your microphone on a hearing aid, which is tiny. It's going to look like a pinprick on the outside of the hearing aid, which, by the way, will be about the size of a kidney bean, okay? And with a thin little wire going into your ear. And you couldn't see that for love nor money. If I had a pair on me, you wouldn't even have known. At any rate, that little tiny mic changes the sound waves into electricity, and then the digital processor changes the electricity into digits. Now, with math, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. I mean, you can manipulate an equation any which way you like, okay? Yeah. And so that's the beauty of today's digital hearing aids, is they can do what you've programmed them to do. So when you think of my fingers all sitting here, pinky and then the bigger one going to my index finger, think of each of those as a channel. One might be bass, one might be mid, another one's treble. Well, you can raise or lower each of those fingers independently of the other one. You can literally shape and sculpt the way the hearing aid corrects for your hearing loss. And then you hit save on the computer to store that program. And that will be the program for listening in quiet one-on-one. Okay? Then you might have a situation where the person says, yeah, but I have a lot of trouble hearing in noise, which is what so common. That's what I'd say 90% of people who have hearing loss complain about background noise. You will store a second program. And in this program, you're going to deliberately give less bass than you did, and you're going to deliberately bump up and give more treble. Now, why would you do that? And the reason you do that is because of speech and because of noise. Background noise is mostly low pitch. So the hubbub, background hubbub and babble is mostly low pitch. So in noise, you want to decrease your loudness of the low pitch. So you're going to reduce the amplification for lows. And in speech, the most important sounds to hear are the consonants. So when you think of the letters F, or T, or CH as in church, or S as in speech. So those are high-pitched sounds, and they tell people what a word is. And I've said on other shows, too, if you think of the words fat, hat, cat, sat, bat, they all have but what makes them different is the high-pitched consonant. So that's what tells you what a word is. And hearing-impaired people usually don't complain that they can hear. They don't say, I can't hear you. They say, I can't hear what you said. They can hear that you're talking. They have trouble distinguishing what you said. So when that second program deliberately bumps up treble, it makes the consonants easier to hear in the background noise.
I would think that would be critical in a conversation when you were talking about a cat and fat in the same sentence, because you could get yourself in a lot of trouble. And,
you bet.
And while that might be a little bit humorous as we talk about it, for a lot of people it becomes an embarrassing situation.
It does, and you've hit the nail on the head, George. That's what happens. I mean, I didn't order hamburgers to go for 200 people. I ordered hamburgers to go for 2 hungry people. There's not a lot of difference there, And when you weren't sure if they said dishes or fishes or kittens or mittens, you're going to make a mistake, and it's embarrassing to become the butt end or to not have caught the punchline of a joke that way that everybody else got and you didn't. And you feel, you guys, go on out and have a good time. I'm kind of tired. I'll stay back and read a book. And that's the saddest story or chapter with hearing loss.
Well, and that's the social, if I could use that word.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think in the workplace when you're in a situation with a lot of people and you're barking commands or yelling instructions, boy, you could mess up some mess up some important information.
You bet. And so it's that psychosocial interaction. Hearing is a social sense, unlike vision. Vision is an environmental sense. You have it so you don't bump into things, okay?
Right.
But hearing loss not only affects the person who has it, it also affects significant others in a relationship because it deals with talking. and are you hearing? Can you hear, or are you just not listening? It's that.
You don't care?
Yeah, exactly. And look where that goes. Talking to me from another room. It affects relationships, husband, wives, children, teachers, caregivers, saying the wrong thing when you thought you heard one thing and you didn't. It's like, there's ways you can deal with it. And early intervention is the way. Why wait until your hearing gets so bad that now to wear hearing aids is like a huge step and an adjustment? Why not? Just like I have with reading glasses. I've started out getting used to glasses when I couldn't see close up, and you walk with it. Well, if you do, why shouldn't you do the same with hearing?
You're listening to BoomerLife on CIAL 650, and we're talking with Dr. Ted Venema, an audiologist from NexGen Hearing. And it's so important, if you've just joined us and you think that you've missed a little bit, because we got lots more to come, you can get more information at nextgenhearing.com. Let's talk about the research that has led NexGen and its fierce competitors to fine-tune this process. Was it from the workplace? Was it from, familial situations? What drove it? It's
client complaints with hearing aids. It really is. I like the word hearing aid, because it's like a cane for a bad knee. They really help, but they don't totally replace the real McCoy. Okay, I can't bring your hearing back to where you were 10, but I can sure turn it back a decade or two. And the trial of hearing aids is free. Hearing tests are free. And, you could walk out with a set of hearing aids from NexGen Hearing for free for 21 days. To try them out. And then we're not only just sending you out saying bye, we want to see you in a week. How are you doing with your hearing aids? Mm-hmm. Follow up. Can I answer questions? Can we retune, reprogram some things? Are there certain sounds that bug you? Tell me your observations, and we see you the next week, and we'll see you the following week. And so we walk the walk with you. But the hearing aids today are also delivering natural sound. They're communicating with each other. So it's like, get this. If I'm looking away from you and my left ear is facing you, my left ear is going to hear your voice a little bit louder than my right ear, right?
Right.
Well, if I'm wearing a pair of some... One company does this, I believe it's Oct22nd. You'd be talking to me, this left hearing aid will communicate with my right hearing aid.
To
establish and restore that natural balance that you would normally experience in regular life. So you're talking these digital, what they call algorithms, or a chain of digital commands can be whoppingly complex. What's going on inside a hearing aid is so many bits per second, it's unbelievable. So hearing aids today are really getting close to the real holy grail of delivering natural sound, quite like you experienced before you had hearing loss. It's really pretty good.
Well, it's and as you say, because of the competitiveness of the industry, it has to get better. And can you totally 100% restore hearing loss?
No. Okay. To be perfectly honest, no. And because I got to keep clearing my throat. I don't know maybe I need a whiskey here. No. With vision loss,
right.
Light isn't reflected to the back of your eyeball correctly. All right? So you wear lenses to refocus the light properly on the back of your eye. And what is the back of your eye? The retina. And what does the retina do? Changes light into electricity so your brain can understand it. Well, the problem with vision is light isn't reaching it properly, so you refocus the light with lenses. But the retina itself is okay. Now, look at hearing. That's like me going to the back of your eyeballs going, now I've scratched up your retinas.
Right.
Now go ahead and wear your glasses. And then you'll be in the world of hearing loss. Because the glasses will still help, but they won't totally fix. Okay? So you'd have to have glasses then that helped you discern red from green from blue. Not just focus things, but help you sort out the colors. Okay? That's kind of like what today's hearing aids have to do, because the inner ear is shaped like a snail shell. It's tiny. It's about as big as the tip of your little finger. It has 15,000 little hair cells in it. And those hair cells become damaged, and you can't fix those. You can amplify to overcome the problem, but you can't totally go in and fix those. They're too small. And so that's why surgery can't be done to fix hearing loss as it appears when you're past 65, or even the hearing loss due to noise. The second most common cause of hearing loss.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit, because that was one of the questions I had is, what happens, what causes the eventual loss of hearing. But age is the big factor.
Age is the big one, and it's called presbycusis. Sounds like Presbyterian.
Accused of being a Presbyterian, okay.
As in Church of the Elders as opposed to the deacons.
Right.
Well, elderly vision is called presbyopia. Okay. Elderly hearing loss is loss of treble hearing, and it's called presbycusis. And your vision loss tends to hit you when you're 40. Hearing loss waits a little longer, another 20, 25 years. And then people just begin to notice a lack of clarity in people's speech. And they say young people are mumbling. Well, you know what? That's true. I think people do mumble. A lot
Diction
of people.
is not their forte.
Right. And that is an accurate observation. People should speak more clearly, especially over microphones and in stores and airports and things. But the coin has two sides. The other side of the coin is you got some treble hearing loss, and you've got trouble hearing treble.
Trouble with treble. Yeah. Well, there's so much more I want to talk a bit more. We glanced over it a little bit when it was the directional microphones.
Yes.
Let's get a bit more into that in our next segment.
For sure.
You're listening to BoomerLife on CIL 650. I'm George Gordon. We're talking about the impact of hearing loss and solutions. Most important, the solutions you can find with NexGen Hearing. You can get more information at nextgenhearing.com.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.